everyone, welcome back to One Mouse, One Dream. So this is my latest travel series video. I'm doing a new video every other week leading up to our trip in February of next year. We are almost at the 60-day mark for our trip. I could not be more excited because Disney is getting closer and closer, and I know time's gonna fly by because the holidays are here, and I just absolutely love Christmas too, so I just know the time is gonna fly by, and before you know it, it's gonna be the middle of January, and I probably will start packing at that time. Yes, I like to pack well in advance, but that's just me to make sure that I never forget anything on our trip. So this video, I'm just going to talk briefly. It's going to be somewhat of a short video. I thought I was going to talk a lot more about the overall system, but I just don't want to get into all that because I feel like so many of you guys know about Fastpass Plus. That's what this video is going to talk about because we're almost at that 60-day mark. So we are getting ready to soon book our Fastpass Plus reservations, and I just sort of would like to talk to you guys about what we do to help prepare. So just to break it down just a little bit so that if you guys haven't heard about this and you have no idea, then you sort of will get an idea, and then you can do a little bit more research on your own, I guess. Or if you guys like me to do a video, I would love to do a video. I just wasn't planning on doing it today. So I'll stop rambling and talk to you guys. Well, what is Fastpass Plus for Disney? It's basically Disney's reservation system that allows guests who are going to Walt Disney World to book in advance certain attractions and rides before they even get to their trip. If you're staying on Walt Disney World property, you can do this up to 60 days in advance, like my husband and I are about to do. And if you're staying off property, you can do this up to 30 days in advance of your trip. All that you need is a valid park admission. So again, if you're staying on Disney property, you know, you're gonna get your magic bands and things, and that's basically your park ticket, and that will have all of your information to help do this process. If you're staying off property, you'll get the old-fashioned, park ticket cards that look like a credit card or a store bonus card, and that's your park ticket. So basically, once you have all of that, you can then, have the opportunity and to book your advance reservations as long as you're in that 30-day or 60-day time period. You basically are permitted to do up to 3 reservations per day that of your trip. You can actually do a little bit more, but let me just sort of backtrack for a second. So you get to choose 3 different either attractions or rides per day. There's 2 different tiers for each park. So there's a tier 1, which are your more sought after reservations that almost everybody wants to do, and then there's your tier 2 that you still want to do, but it's not necessarily as popular as tier 1. So tier 1, I think you basically, I think it hasn't changed, but you basically can choose 1 from tier 1 and then 2 from tier 2. I'm pretty sure that stayed the same. I haven't seen anything different, so like I said, I'm pretty sure that's still true. So what does that mean when I say you can do more? Well, once you've actually used all 3 fast passes that you reserved for that park that day, say it's 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you've used all 3 of your reservations, you then can go to any of the park kiosks for the Fastpass Plus. So in each of the parks, Disney has several different kiosk locations that you can go and make changes to your Fastpass Plus reservations. This is where you also can go there to book additional Fastpass Plus reservations. So that's the only downfall. You can't book it through your phone or your tablet to make additional reservations once you've used your 3 reservations that you had previously booked, say through your phone, tablet, or computer back home. You can adjust the 3 that you previously booked, like before actually going to Disney, but you can't do any additional bookings through your phone. But you can make additional reservations going to those kiosks. Now, sometimes you can get really great additional Fastpass Pluses, or sometimes they're just like so-so, but 9 times out of 10, when you're using and taking advantage of the Fastpass Plus like advanced reservation system, that means it's going to save you time. I think there's a statistic out there that, on certain days you could save up to yourself 4 hours of wait time by using the Fastpass Plus line instead of standing in the standby line. Yes, sometimes the Fastpass line and the standby line sometimes can be about the same wait time, especially for like a huge attraction like waiting for Anna and Elsa when they first, became really popular, when Frozen Fever like hit everywhere, or when Seven Dwarfs Mine Train first opened up. Things like that are definitely gonna sometimes have a long standby line as well as a long Fastpass line, but still typically your Fastpass line is going to save you at least some sort of time. So like I said, you can do 3 in advance prior to even getting to your Walt Disney World trip, but then you can do additional reservations. Like I said, we've taken advantage of it. Sometimes it's not necessarily like a line that you need a Fastpass for, but it definitely helps because, say it's like a 20-minute wait for the standby line and it's literally only a 5-minute wait for a Fastpass. It was worth it for us to book that other Fastpass because it saved us 15 minutes in line and we could go use that 15 minutes and do another attraction or another ride or something. So what I do to sort of help prepare us when we're booking our Fastpasses, I like to go to Disney's website and look at what park hours are going to be for I know it's anticipated park hours because they could change between, the time that you're doing your reservations up until your trip time. But I like to go and look at what certain times are going to be for each of the parks that day, and are there any ride closures, that kind of stuff, expected closures, because sometimes when we go there are definitely, that's the downfall of going off season. I know I'm getting a little off subject, but like we go off season and sometimes Disney will do a lot of their repairs on certain rides and attractions during off season, so that's one of the downfalls. But for the most part, like I feel like it's certain rides that we've ridden on or attractions that we've seen many times, and it's okay. It's sometimes sad to not be able to do them, but you still make the best out of your trip. So once I look at the hours and things of each of the parks, I sort of try to plan out when we're going to be going to each of the parks. Then I start to choose from, my favorite list of things that we must do for myself as well as for my husband for our trip. And this trip is going to be a little bit different. We're not necessarily going to be doing like all of the things that we've done before, and because we're doing a couple new things, I think we're going to be booking some tours that we haven't done before, so I'm really excited about that. So I'm not necessarily as much of a planner when it comes to our fast passes right now. I'm still planning them out because I want to make sure that we do get the rides and attractions that we want to see for sure. But if I don't get a couple of other ones that like are sort of on the back burner, I'm okay with that because of the fact I'm pretty sure we're booking at least 2 different tours that we've never done before, and I'm so excited about doing that because I've never done any of the backstage tour kind of things. So the next thing I like to make sure to do is to again go back and look at the different categories of Tier 1 and Tier 2. So out of each of the parks, I like to make sure I write down the list of my favorite Tier 1 and then the list of the next 2 reservations I'd like to make out of the Tier 2 category. If you're doing just all 4 parks, just 1 day per park, obviously you want to do this, you want to make a Tier 1 pick for Hollywood Studios and then 2 tier picks for Hollywood Studios, and the same thing for each of the parks. If you're going multiple days, you want to make sure that you are then doing a second grouping. Okay, well, I'm going to do a different Tier 1 and 2 other choices of Tier 2. Or if you want to just do the same rides over and over again, you can. But what it allows you to do is, like, if you're going to all 4 parks, twice, then you can choose, 2 tier 1 like options as well as 4 tier 2 options. I know this might sound a little bit confusing, but if you go to the Disney website, it explains all this information. That's why I wasn't going to go into too much detail about the Fastpass Plus reservation system. I just wanted to sort of give you my tips that I like to do to help us book these reservations. So once I have a list of the things that I definitely want to do as well as what my husband would like to do, I then will sort of break them down into the certain days that we want to go to as well, because there's certain things that are going to be at certain times, and if we're going to do those tours and things, it may not work out to do certain fast passes. So I like to make sure I have like those type of plans set in place prior to even doing the fast pass reservations. My next biggest tip, and I know this might sound crazy, but if you're able to, if you are going to Disney for the first time or the 50th time, and there's specific attractions or rides that you would like to guarantee to get on that you know are highly sought after, my recommendation, I know this is crazy, but when your day comes, my day, like I said, is coming on Thursday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay, it's Friday. What I'm going to do Thursday night, I'm staying up till midnight, and I'm starting to book our reservations right at midnight. I'm going to have my list of things that we'd like to do on each of the days so that it's not going to take me long to go through the process of choosing and selecting each of our reservations. I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but I've done it every year. Even though we don't have a ton of things that we must do, I still like to do it just to make sure that I get the things that we absolutely do want to do. And then like everything else, if I don't get all of those done that night and I'm tired and want to go back to sleep, I definitely will just sort of push it aside. But if you're someone that has like a huge long list of certain rides that you guys all need to do or certain attractions you must see, then I definitely would take advantage of doing it right at midnight, because when the clock strikes midnight, you're able to start booking your reservations. If for whatever reason there's like say a couple reservations that you weren't able to, land a reservation for, don't fear, because if you are consistently checking and trying to update your Fastpass selections right up until the day of the trip that your trip that you're leaving, you can possibly still snag those reservations, because people cancel and change their reservations all the time, and it's just about being consistent with checking. It's the same thing when you're trying to book dining reservations. Like there's certain things that you have to book 180 days in advance, but you might 3 days before your trip snag one of those reservations. So it's just about being like proactive and like staying on top of it. And I know this is that kind of trip when you go to Disney, there has to be some sort of planning involved, and this is just one of those things if you want to take advantage of the system. Like I said, I think I said earlier, not everybody takes advantage of this, but like I feel like it's for your benefit because it does save you some time throughout your actual trip. I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about the Fastpass Plus system. Like I said, it's a really easy system. It's so user-friendly. I feel like they've made so many advances to the system over the last couple of years since they've really launched the whole Magic Band thing, and I just feel like there's not as many glitches and things in the system. And I think what's nice about the newer system compared to the old like Fastpass like ticket form that you had to like go get a ticket and then come back between like a certain time. What's nice about this, you don't have to go to the kiosk and get a ticket for that attraction and then come back like, several hours later or something. Whereas this, you can just do everything in advance before you even come to the park, and it's just like one less worry. And it's just nice knowing that you have certain attractions like Toy Story or a great spot for, Wishes at night to be able to see the fireworks and things. It's just nice knowing that you can do that and that Disney created this, which is awesome. I feel like some people should take advantage of it more, but they don't, and I feel like sometimes that can sort of ruin your trip. But of course, you don't want to let anything ruin your trip because you're in Disney. But I hope you guys, appreciate this video. I know it seems sort of like all jumbled together, but I just wanted to share sort of like the basic understanding about the Fastpass Plus and what I do to try to make the planning part a little bit easier. Like I said, take advantage of the Disney website. There's so much wealth of information on there, and it sort of breaks down everything as far as the Fastpass guide. It's sort of like a no-fail thing. And of course, if you have questions, don't hesitate calling, the Walt Disney World reservation system, because they're there to help you, and it's free service. They'll answer as many questions they possibly can, and if they don't have the answer, I'm sure they'll find somebody else that does have the answer for you. But like I said, I've never really had any trouble with the system, since they've, made all these new updates and everything. And it's definitely, worth taking advantage of and looking into if you've never used it before. Like I said, you do get a perk staying on property because you can do it 60 days in advance, which we're getting ready to do. And if you're staying off property, you still get to do it in advance. It's still going to save you guys time throughout your trip, but you can only just do it the 30 days in advance. So again, I hope you guys like this video. I hope it made sense. I hope I wasn't rambling too much. I didn't really have a lot of time to film this video, but I wanted to make sure I got something in for this week. And the next video, I think it's going to be more of like an arts and craft video as far as things to make for your upcoming trip. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I hope you guys are all doing your Disney like Christmas countdowns and things, because it's now December 2nd and Christmas is almost here. So have a great week, guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.